right, 5 minutes after 9 o'clock. Beautiful Thursday morning, and it's time for Veterans News. Hank Whittier is not in the studio. Looks like Gary Pascale sitting in the captain's seat. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning, Larry. Good morning, veterans. It's good to be here on this great morning, and got Joe here with me, the station manager. Well, I totally feel honored.
No, it's the other way around.
Unfortunately, today we do have a lot of casualties, especially in the law enforcement community, and we do have some in the fire administration community. Matter of fact, we have several of them too. So, it's kind of a sad week for our first responders. So we'll go ahead and get started with that. First of all, we have firefighter Michael W. Curry, who was with the Savannah Fire and Emergency Services. His rank was Master Firefighter, and his death was on November 19th. We have firefighter Ted Rodney Collett, whose rank was Firefighter. He was with the Redbird Volunteer Fire and Rescue Fire Department, and his rank was Firefighter, and his date of death was November 17th. We have firefighter Merrill L. Neal, who was with the Volunteer Fire Company of Vernon in Vernon, Vermont. His rank was he was a police chief captain, but I guess he was a firefighter too, and his date of death was November 26. And then we have Daryl Poorboy Eldon Verrill of the Blackfoot Forestry and Fire Management. His rank was crew boss and engine boss, and his date of death was November 30th. And then we have firefighter Andraith, or Andy Hope, who was with the Wilmington Fire Department, and his rank was senior firefighter, and his date of death was December 1st. And going on to our law enforcement losses, we have Deputy Sheriff Ryan Thomas of the Valencia County Sheriff's Office in New Mexico. His end of watch was December 6th. He was killed in an automobile accident. We have Trooper Frankie Williams of the New Jersey State Police, and his cause of death was also a motor vehicle accident. We have police officer Reginald Jake Gutierrez of the Tacoma Police Department in Tacoma, Washington. His end of watch was November 30th, and his cause of death was a gunshot wound. We have Trooper Cody James Donahue of the Colorado State Highway Patrol. His end of watch was Friday, November 25th, and he was struck down by a vehicle. We have Sergeant Colin Rose of the Wayne State University Police in Michigan. His end of watch was November 23rd. His cause of death, gunfire. We have Trooper Eric Dale Ellsworth of the Utah Highway Patrol. His end of watch was Tuesday, November 22nd. Cause of death, struck down by a vehicle. And we have Deputy Sheriff Eric James Oliver of the Nassau County Sheriff's Office right here in Florida. His end of watch was Tuesday, November 22nd, and he was also struck down by a motor vehicle. Our thoughts and our prayers go out with the families of these firefighters and law enforcement who are out there day and night to keep watch over us and protect us.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but
back with me now, Gary, for a moment here.
Yeah, let me thank you and WOCA, for giving us Veterans News Hour every week, for as long as I can remember. And, Joe, I know you want to go ahead and thank our favorite sponsor.
Yeah. First, I like to say I'm honored that when we took over the station in 2010, I don't believe it's already over 6 years ago, it was in place. Veterans News was in place. And I decided it was a no-brainer to keep it in place. It was a institution that's continued on, and I hope it does continue on for a long, long time to bring veterans news to over 55,000 veterans in Marion County. That's not even going into Sumter and Lake County that our signal reaches into. So, to all the veterans, I salute you. I thank you for your service, fellow veterans. And Bob Wines also kind of salutes you because they are a sponsor. Veterans News is brought to you by Bob Wines Community Gardens and Nursery at 2610 Southeast 38th Street, right here in lovely Ocala. When it comes to landscaping, Bob Wines has what you need. Everything from small plants to large trees, mulch, fertilize, and so much more. Bob Wines will even deliver, plant, and guarantee their trees. Bob Wines Community Garden and Nursery has been keeping you blooming since 1952 with extended hours during the holidays till 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. on Saturday. Remember, Bob Wines offers 10% discount to the veterans with proper identification. Questions? Just give them a call at 629-5766. Back to you, Gary.
Yeah, Joe, and I just want to say one more thing about WOCA. This is a beautiful studio that you're blessed with here. And I can remember when I was with the Salvation Army and Hank had me on the air with you over there at the Cascades when we were thinking about getting a veterans program. And I have to say, we've come a long way.
Just like the Veterans Administration and Vets Helping Vets, we've come a long way, baby.
Yeah, God has blessed us, and we thank Him for that. And
that is going to be phenomenal.
He'll continue.
Yes.
We had a very special day yesterday, Joe. It was the 75th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. And, we just want to let everybody know real quick that over in the Veterans Park on Saturday, Jeffrey Askew is doing a Pearl Harbor remembrance. Again, that's 10 a.m. in our own. That Veterans Park belongs to each and every one of us veterans. Okay, and that's our community's project over there.
There's only 300 veterans from Pearl Harbor alive. The one veteran I posted on my Facebook blob, or what do you want to call it? He's 104 years old.
Wow.
And he exercised. He had a trainer for 3 years so he could actually go to see the memorial yesterday.
Oh, wow.
And it was cool. It made my eyes leak.
It's my dream to someday get there. My dad was he joined the Army, I believe, in 1939, and he took his basic training in Fort Dix, New Jersey, and he went to Hawaii, I think, in early 1940, and I think he was at Fort Shafter. He told me he never talked about it much, but as the bombs started to fall, he said he was going into church.
We're going to pause for the cause, and we'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. On this Thursday, a mix of clouds and sunshine. Our afternoon high between 69 and 73. Mostly cloudy Thursday night. A shower or two in the area. Lows in the mid-40s in the northern interior part of the zone to 54 along the coast. Friday, partly sunny, breezy, and cooler. Highs generally in the low to mid-60s. For Saturday, sunny to partly cloudy. High 66 to 70. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
This week at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, the fabulous Christmas bargains just keep on coming. Poinsettias, they have thousands in all sizes with dazzling and exotic new colors. You can get 3 florist quality foil wrapped poinsettias for only $10. Bob Wine's has a huge selection of green and growing Christmas trees, including robin blue cedar, prices starting at $39.99. And hey, check out the BOGO on perennials, all buy one, get one free. Let's not forget the truckload sale on camellias. Bob has budded and blooming heirloom camellias starting at just $19.99. special pre-Christmas store hours, daily till 5, Saturdays till 2. Bob Wines is on Southeast 38th Street, east of Pine, away from the traffic, bringing you a green and greener Christmas every year since 1952.
That was the sound of a tree falling. It could be your tree. You're going to have it trimmed, but never got around to calling Pride Tree Service. It could have fallen in a field, and now all you have to do is call Pride Tree Service, and they'll have it quickly out of the way for a great price. But don't wait until the tree falls. It may not fall in the field. It may hit your car, your house, or worse. So call Pride Tree Service today and avoid all those headaches before they happen. Pride Tree Service, 572-2510. That's 572-2510.
Experience Christmas at Gaylord Palms, presented by Fujifilm Instax, November 18th through January 1st. Enjoy spectacular holiday decor, dining, and entertainment, including ice, with an all-new theme featuring a Charlie Brown Christmas, Cirque Dreams Unwrapped stage show, breakfast with Charlie Brown and friends, Alpine Rush snow tubing, and much more. It's everything Christmas in one extraordinary place. Tickets and overnight packages, including priority extra cool hour admission to ice, are on sale now at Christmas@GaylordPalms.com.
Christmas time is here, and this holiday season, Gaylord Palms puts a brand new twist on a Christmas classic. It's Ice, presented by Pepsi, featuring a Charlie Brown Christmas by Charles Schulz, November 18th through January 1st. See the whole Peanuts gang carved in over 2 million pounds of colorful ice, including Snoopy's decorated doghouse, and dancing at the holiday play rehearsal. Your awe-inspiring experience concludes with the wonder of the nativity in ice. For tickets and packages, visit Christmas@GaylordPalms.com.
See you, Joe. 18 minutes after 9 o'clock. Let's return now to Veterans News. Joe Martin leaving the room. And, of course, Gary Pascale is here, and Don Williams is here as well.
And I can say, I'm very proud and honored to be the son of a Pearl Harbor survivor. And actually, the story of my dad was kind of interesting because originally he wasn't a survivor. They had him actually listed as deceased.
Wow.
And if that had been the case, then I wouldn't have been born. That would have been the end of the year. Thank God, yeah, because I wasn't born until 1951. But he was they were doing triage as quick as they could after the bombing, and he was in a group that they had presumed deceased. And when they had picked him up to load him on the truck, somebody thought they had felt a pulse, and thank God that they did, and they got him medical help, sent him over to the hospital, and then eventually to a hospital ship. And then he went to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, and recouped in a hospital for about 18 months, and then had to recoup about another 2 years after that. He was, wounded very severely. Wow. But we want to put a thanks out, to all the soldiers, sailors, and Marines, over there at Pearl Harbor. Joe told me that there was only 300 left. If any of you are listening to my voice, God bless each and every one of you. And Joe had mentioned that the oldest one that they took to the memorial yesterday was 104. So, may God be with you. And, we hope that you see many more of these anniversaries, even though it might be hard to relive some of them. I just want to go over some figures here on that. Sometimes, we don't, we need to, I don't say we have to relive the past, Larry. Right. But if we don't keep it in mind, history can tend to repeat himself. And it's a sad thing. The Navy had 2,008 sailors killed on that day. The Army had 218 soldiers. The Marines had 109 Marines killed that day. And in addition, something they don't usually take into consideration, they said some of the bombs, fell by accident on the city. But 68 civilians also lost their lives on that fatal day. There was 710 Navy wounded, 364 Army wounded, another 69 Marines wounded, and there was 35 civilians wounded. That leaves a total killed that day of 2,403, 1,178 wounded, for a total of 3,581 on that day. And, you know, we suffered some heavy losses that day, too. We lost 31 naval aircraft and 128 Army Air Corps aircraft. I watched a special on the History Channel. It was just this week, in fact, and they had made a very bad decision, Don, to get the aircraft ready. The Army did, and or the Army Air Corps, and they parked them right on the runway next to the hangars. One just lined up right after another, almost like in formation, so they could get to them quick, get them out to the runway and get them off. So when the Zeros came over the runway, it was like, you know, shooting ducks in a barrel.
Yeah. Wow.
It was a, you know, it was a terrible decision. Of course, they thought they were at peace, but, you know.
Can I mention something I heard yesterday? I never heard this before. That in addition to Pearl Harbor on December 7th, there was a ship torpedoed somewhere between, the way they described it, between San Francisco and Honolulu. Do you know that? Do you know that story?
No, I had never heard that.
I never heard that before.
But I did hear on that special I was watching, they did say that while they were preparing for the attack, they did have a lot of submarines, you know, looking for U.S. shipping. So, you know, that might have been one of the incidents right there.
And I don't know if it was a military ship. They just said it kind of in passing, and I heard it on the radio on our station. I think it was the afternoon show. I don't know, and I don't know anything else about that. So,
but you know, that was just one heck of a day there, you know. And
so, did your dad have lifetime issues from that?
Yeah, matter of fact, Larry, I was only 14 years old when he passed away.
Is that right?
And you know, my dad was a very proud man. He was 100% disabled after the war, and you know, he could have just, you know, collected his check and took it easy.
Yeah.
But you know, being an Italian, well, he was born in the United States, but you know, some of his brothers and sisters weren't, and they were patriotic to the point of, like, really carried away, if there is such a thing. I mean, they loved America. They were flag-waving people. And what he did was, you know, he recouped, and he tried to go back to work. And when he actually went back to work, he just, you know, even though he was allowed to keep the money from the government, he just kept sending the checks back. And
he did?
Yes,
oh,
he did.
Wow.
And I guess after about 5 years, you know, they didn't send him anymore. And the only thing I ever seen him, you know, till he died, you know, a big piece of him was missing, but you know, till he died, the only thing I ever remember him going to the VA hospital for was he had a couple of wisdom teeth pulled one time, and you know, being 100% disabled, you know, he had the dental.
What do you mean a big piece of him was missing?
Well, shrapnel had hit him. He was pretty close to a bomb, and it tore out on his right side. A big chunk of his skin and stuff, and I don't know what kind of part of his internal organs, but even 25 years later when he died, you know, when he took his shirt off, you could take your whole hand, an adult-sized fist, and you know, and put it in the in the depression. It was
my gosh,
it was so large.
Wow, he's lucky he survived.
Yeah, but you know, he never talked about it. And another great thing about my dad is he never had any kind of hatred or prejudice for the Japanese people. He always said that war was a government's thing, and you know, the people shouldn't suffer because of it, or we should never hate anybody. And,
very smart.
You know, that's one of the big things. You know, he taught me. You know, as bad as the situation was in Pearl Harbor there, and as hopeless as it may have seemed for us, we do want to say this. The United States did recover, Larry.
Sure did.
And, you know, we recovered a whole quicker than Yamamoto ever thought we could. And in 1942, in the Battle of Midway, we sank 4 Japanese carriers. And, you know, that was one of the decisive points of the war, because once we hit those carriers, you know, they couldn't do any more sneak attacks or hardly any more attacks against our Pacific forces.
Gary, you've got the phone ringing. Do you want to take some phone calls?
Sure, I'll take a phone call.
Okay, if you can put your headset on, you'll be able to hear the callers. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Gary, Don's going to put his headset on. Good morning, you're on the air. Thank you for calling and for waiting.
Yes, good morning, vets. On that morning, December 7th, the Navy band was playing the national anthem as they were raising the flag at the beginning of the attack, and 38 of the band members were instantly killed by machine gun.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Didn't know that.
I had seen a little clip of that on that show I was talking about earlier. Apparently that was a thing that they did every Sunday morning. And, our thoughts and prayers, go out to all these people that survived, and, it was an effort by everybody, the bands, the people that tried to get to the guns, we did fight back. Actually, on that clip I seen, Larry had said that after 5 minutes, we were returning fire of some kind from both the ships and the land. And, that's actually phenomenal.
I'll take off your headset. Yeah, you got one more phone call, Gary.
Okay.
If you just put it back on. Good morning. Thank you for calling.
Good morning. In reference to fighting back, they think we shot down about 30-some-odd Japanese planes. But the point of the matter is the United States was anticipating an attack, but the last place they considered was Pearl Harbor. They figured it would have been one of the American possessions, possibly the Philippines or some other island group. But they didn't think they would actually travel that distance to Hawaii. And surprise.
Yeah.
But anyway, it wasn't like the government didn't have any idea. It's just that they didn't think it would be Hawaii. Have a great day, and thank you for remembering our vets, and have a Merry Christmas.
You too, sir, and God bless you.
Wow.
Yeah, Larry, what an American spirit we got, that we could bounce back, from something like that. And, I'm proud to be an American.
Me too.
And I'm proud to live in this country, and I love this country. And just to make a point, we here support veterans, but it's active duty military we love too. And nobody knows more than us veterans, right, Don? Yep. That we have to, like this gentleman said, we knew something was coming, but we didn't know what. We have to be prepared all the time. It's important that the United States always has that our troops are equipped with the best that money can buy, the best that we can give them, and that you continue them. If you're a praying person, remember our troops on active duty, in your prayers every night before you go to bed, because a lot of them don't sleep. We can get in our beds and, we can sleep comfortably, and we can turn the lights off and not have to worry. The same thing with these officers and firefighters. They're up all night, they're watching over us, so, we can rest peacefully, and enjoy our homes and do what we do best. Just take a few minutes today and reflect on Pearl Harbor, even though it's a day late because we didn't have the show yesterday. But, it was great getting to talk about them. And, Larry, I know it's about time to go.
Yes,
so for Hank Whittier, I just want to say, God bless America.
Very good. Thank you.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. The president-elect continues his thank you tour in the heartland, also building his administration.
Retired General John Kelly is the president-elect's pick for Homeland Security Secretary.